What a treat to see National Security Forum back, mingling among the tables. It is absolutely fantastic to see everybody out this evening. Thank you very much. So we really want to honor our founder, who was absolutely wonderful in bringing this organization here. And I spent too many years in Washington, D.C. And when I talk to my colleagues in Washington, D.C., they're amazed that Reno, Nevada, which most people barely know exists, could bring together 100 people to talk about national security issues on a regular basis. And so that's a credit to our founder and a credit to the genius of Dr. Ty Cobb. So with that, I would like everybody to stand and give a wonderful standing ovation for our founder, Dr. Cobb. So one of the things that we asked and we thought was important for this celebratory evening was for all of us to get a perspective from Nevada and to be able to learn from one of the seminal leaders in the state of Nevada what are the threats that are of concern to him, to the National Guard, to the people who serve with him, and then probably most importantly, because it's important that we don't just think about the problems, but we also think about what we're doing about them, is to understand the role the National Guard is playing in addressing those threats. So with that, it is my great pleasure to welcome Major General Ondra and
Good evening. How's everybody doing? Is the food good? All right. Is the company good? All right. Is the environment good? All right. Let's just go home then, right there. I want to end on good notes. So first of all, thank you for introducing me. And when I was listening to what the National Security Forum stands for, I was like, dialogue around security, learning and education, civil discourse, stronger communities. I was like, y'all need to take this to the national level, okay? We need to take this all around the country. If we just did that, we would just be doing so much better as a nation. So I thank you for what you do, and I really appreciate that. So having said that, good afternoon and good evening to everybody that's here. Okay, I just want to say, first of all, to Dr. Ty Cobb, who was a visionary in creating a space to promote discussions around critical security issues facing the United States. Thank you for having me here today. And as we are here tonight celebrating 10 years of great work and where the forum was founded, and 20 years where Dr. Cobb started holding national security breakfast discussions, this is where he began educating Nevadans on global issues. And it's great to know that in times like these, where so many lurk, I like to say, fearfully on the sidelines of life, that strong and capable leaders still exist in those critical areas that still matter. So I have to thank him for that. So I just want to give him another round of applause, because sometimes we just take for granted the great work that is happening out there. And so I just want to say thank you for that. You're a trailblazer, a leader, a person who builds a better world for others. And we need those trailblazers to show us what's possible. So there's nothing better than people helping people make America better. That's the slogan for you, okay? There's nothing better than people helping people make America better. And he has skillfully demonstrated in so many ways what to expect of our leaders and ourselves. And using his personal moments in his life from his he's got a very accomplished life. If you haven't researched him, please do. And his commitment. So I just like to thank him for that. But I also think it's important that we take the time. This is, I'll say, the week of Veterans Day. And if you love your country, if you love democracy, if you love freedom, if you love the ability to go and enjoy yourself If you just enjoyed this great nation, thank some veteran for what they do each and every day to make sure we have a great nation. Yeah, I believe we ought to raise our glasses right now. Raise your glasses to some veteran that's out there, because right now they're on some mountainside, some foreign country, or right here in our nation doing great work. If you love this country, what I like to say is the longest running democracy in the history of the world. Thank a veteran for that. Cheers for that. Because this is a time where we get a chance to honor Americans, veterans, for their patriotism, love of country, and willingness to sacrifice to ensure that we have the life that we have today. So as the Adjutant General of the state of Nevada, and I have some people here from our great organization. I have some over here from Department of Emergency Management. Dave, wave your hand, and your team, and his wife, and my wife is here, and the great Dan Morgan is here. If you don't know Dan, there's 10 things you must do in this life. One, you must meet Dan Morgan. So if you haven't done that yet, make sure you do it. Put it on your bucket list. Yes. So thank you, Teresa, for all you do. Thank you to my team. And I thank all of you for being here. So, I have the distinct pleasure of representing more than 4,700 outstanding professional guardsmen, airmen, and soldiers, and civilians that represent what we do as the National Guard. I've been entrusted to ensure our readiness to defend the Constitution, as well as uphold a sacred promise to protect the free and democratic world from the tyranny of evil. You have to understand our role. And I am extremely grateful that we get to serve in the greatest country in the world. Somebody should say amen to that. Amen. Somebody should say hallelujah to that. I just want to know, sometimes we take this for granted. I will not let you do that. But you have to have gratitude that we live in I tell people this all the time, there's 53 other ones like me, because there are 54 states, territories, and districts. I have my peer group, and I tell them, I don't know where you live, and I don't know how they treat you, but in the state of Nevada, they love their military and their veterans. So we get a chance to do this each and every day with our great workforce who live what we call our selfless service, and who are committed towards ensuring that we remain the land of the free and the home of the brave. So no matter what's going on in the world today, just know that we are better because of those who serve each and every day. And I am often asked this question, and that's my speech right over there, John Brownell. So if I don't say something right, don't get mad at me. You get mad at him, okay? So, but I'm often asked this, and I get asked it a lot. What really keeps you awake at night? What really bothers you? What do you struggle with when you see that all this is going on? Because as Thomas Friedman said a long time ago, the world is flat, which means it's connected. What is it that really stays on my mind, not just in a global perspective, but also here on the homeland, and also what we deal with as the United States military? But I'll just tell you from locally within our state, we had the longest and the largest state activation in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And we did yeoman's work. At one time, we had over 1,100 people that were activated to work with the citizens in Nevada. And as many of you witnessed firsthand, our guardsmen were right there from the beginning and throughout. And we didn't know at the time, because they were on the front lines, what they were up against. We were also there through civil unrest, wildfires, and deployment. We had 9 deployments in the last 2 years. Sometimes people don't know we were all around the world protecting this great world. So not only were we successful, but we were ready and living up to our motto of always ready and always there. But we could sit and talk about all the successes of the Nevada National Guard and all the work that the United States military has done. But let's just go what's on the forefront of everybody's mind. And I have to talk and listen to this every day. China, Ukraine, Iran, North Korea, in terms of what's going on out there. Russia, what's going on out there. And the list of uncertainty that's going on in the international landscape. And I remind people of this, if you don't understand this. If you don't think having a very, very strong military doesn't matter, call and ask the people of Ukraine. You better get that part right there. Because if they could attack us, they would. If they thought they could overcome us, they would. So you have to understand that it's very important that we support, fund, be there for our military because they guard the world, but especially they take care of this great nation. On October 27th of this year, the National Defense Strategy emerged with a new approach to how defense will be conducted. We have transitioned from America first, but not alone, to a full-fledged integrated deterrence strategy. So why does an integrated deterrence strategy really matter today? And what does it mean for our National Guardsmen and the United States military? Our competitors are always pursuing holistic strategies that employ varied forms of coercion, that malign their malignant behavior and aggression to achieve their objectives. They're always looking for how they can come and infiltrate our great nation. And meeting the challenge requires really a holistic response of this integrated deterrence. Building an enduring advantages, which means accelerating force development, which making our people better. I say this all the time, that everybody wins when a leader gets better, and especially in the military. Capitalizing on the latest technology and making investments in the extraordinary people that wear the uniform of the United States military, and specifically your Nevada National Guard. So as we look at the National Defense Strategy, which we really are digging deep into in terms of how do we align and get focused and be better for that as an organization and stay laser attacked to that. Number one of the biggest risks right now, and this is that we have to understand, is related to the global and national security issues, is that our nation will need to take seriously the need to focus on investment of the competition with our near-peer and peer-to-peer threats. When we are not focused on a lack of resources, prioritization, and a meaningful process in terms of how we take care of that, we become weaker. It is a result of a strategic competitive advantage for those countries that can provide our greatest challenges. So if this risk is not mitigated by deliberate action by the United States military, these nations will capitalize on the strategic competitive advantage and cause global transition from competition to crisis and or conflict. Extremely ominous warnings about China from the U.S. Strategic Command Chief Oliver Parkin, and I was listening to him just this weekend. And he has warned that the United States should anticipate and prepare for a protracted conflict with China in the near future, which could be triggered by further hostile actions towards Taiwan by Chinese forces. He further stated that the Ukraine crisis that we're in right now, that this is just the warm-up. Be prepared for a conflict bigger than Ukraine. I don't say that to make anybody afraid, but we just have to tell you why it's so critical to have your military always ready and always there. And it's not going to be very long before we're going to get tested in ways that we've never been tested as a nation. The world that you grew up in, that you were born in and grew up in, is not the same world that we live in today. I also stay concerned about, not so much about military-to-military war, but then on our adversaries' ability to conduct cyber and misinformation warfare. Really pay attention to that. Whether you're paying attention to the elections or what the kids are accessing, they are infiltrating our systems, and you have to understand that. How many in this room do not have a cell phone? There you go. The United States has become dependent on social media and other information sources which are readily available right in the palms of our hand. They can get access to us. This gives those players the ability to strike within the United States, spreading false truths, causing distrust, unwarranted conflict, and continued division. I really want you to think about sometimes we get into conflict with each other over what we read or hear on this little thing called a phone. You just have to understand that. In addition, pay attention to the evolution of battlefield tactics due to the incorporation of new technologies like drones, jamming information systems, or air defense. These techniques are already integrated into the U.S. doctrine and are reflected in the National Security Strategy and the National Defense Strategy. Recently, General Mark Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, stated that the world is continually becoming more available and unstable, and the potential for significant informational conflict between great powers is increasing every single day. The flagrant actions of Russia and China continue to impose the greatest threat to the peace and security of the world, and our nation is in a critical strategic reflection point at this time. We must continue to pursue a capability of strength against those threats. I fully agree with General Milley's comments, by the way, and I would be remiss this evening if I did not speak to what is occurring right now in Eastern Europe, especially into the atrocities of a sovereign nation, which is the state of Ukraine. I will say this as simple and as clearly as I can. Right now, there is a ruthless Russian authoritarian regime that is desperately attempting to violently rid the world of a culture of good people. Authoritarians rise when people are afraid. We cannot be afraid as a nation to make sure we're doing everything we can to protect the great people of this world and our allies. You have to understand that part right there. The Russian military's leadership has completely, this is the best part, has completely miscalculated the might of their own military forces as well as the resolve of the Ukrainian people and military. I don't know about you, but I'm cheering them on all the time. You want to see people fight, hold up to their country, don't give up, relentless, driven, passionate about taking care of their nation. The Ukrainians are doing that each and every day. And we can learn so much from them in terms of taking pride in their nation. So they're doing that every day. Russian forces are continually taking heavy casualties and are now desperately adopting medieval warfare and scorched earth tactics. Ladies and gentlemen, children's hospitals are not military targets. Their destruction is a disgusting attempt to eviscerate the hope of the innocent Ukrainian people. The United States, its NATO alliance, and the United Free World must continue to condemn those criminal actions of this great nation. And we are all heartbroken in terms of what we're seeing of mothers holding their children in bomb shelters and air raid sirens going off. See, that's just not what we're used to as a nation. And that should disturb each and every one of us. We are all grieving for these fathers and husbands and sons that are pressing their hands against windows as their families are leaving. We haven't seen that kind of thing as a nation for a long time. And you don't want to see that here. The last shock we got was 9/11. And we vowed never to let that happen again. But when you see it happen in the world, we have to say, on our watch, that's unacceptable, and to prepare and let them know that we support them. So when we think about what's going on, with all this going on, how does the National Guard continue to add value to the international community? And what is our role towards our nation's defense? And let me tell you this, if you don't remember anything else, if you don't get anything else, I have some of the best military warriors you will find in the entire world living right here in the state of Nevada, getting it done every single day. You should be hallelujah for that one, because they're making it happen every day. That's your Nevada National Guard. If you don't get anything else, if you go home and they say, what happened at that meeting? What they talk about? The Nevada National Guard's got our back and is ready to go. That's what they talked about tonight. So let me get back. All right. You didn't have that in here, John, sorry. But I don't know if you paid attention to Ukraine, but the California National Guard has had a close working relationship with Ukraine military and the Ukraine National Guard since, I believe, 1993 through the National Guard State Partnership Program. And if you haven't heard about the State Partnership Program, this is critical for you to know that. And this is only a part of the National Guard. I think there's over 93 state partnerships around the world. And California has had one with Ukraine for all of those years. And it has trained and worked with them and shared successes and failures, and they become great friends. Matter of fact, when the war broke out, they were calling my counterpart, Dave Baldwin, from the California National Guard, asking for advice and direction before they contacted the Department of Defense, before they worked with the Joint Chiefs. That's the power of these state partnerships. And all this is helping them now to really be effective when their country became under attack. So when Putin invaded Ukraine to illegally cross the line, basically, Ukraine was really ready for what was about to come up on them. So the belief at the time was that if the Ukrainians serves as the great gateway to the Western world, an international response would be there. As we all know, that did not happen. They were ready for them. So as a result, Ukraine and California, the California National Guard, doubled the number of exchanges, focusing on the fight for tomorrow. So here we now have Ukrainians trained by California Guardsmen to fight the Russian invasion and repel a superior force. I don't know about you, but I think Putin got caught a little bit off guard by a fully trained National Guard. That's why when I talk about our National Guard, they have a proven track record. Remember I said 9 deployments in the last 2 years. So you have to understand that's what we do as the National Guard. But then when you look at what's going on around the world, when you think about China, he's playing the long game. While we're playing chess, the Chinese are playing the long game, okay? The goal of, they have this thing they call, was it Waikiki, right? I got that right. So the goal is more to occupy more than territory than the opponent by using captured and surrounding strategy. So Waikiki is a board game known for the simple rules with complete strategies. Sound familiar with the Belt and Road Initiative? What I have learned through our state partnership, and we have as a state, Tonga and Fiji, that China is always looking to expand and occupy and own what it can. Let me tell you how I got this. When we were in Fiji about, 6 months ago, we had the Chinese government right in our hotel. Right in our hotel. And that's when you got it. When nothing worked, when everywhere you went they were taping and filming you, when they were constantly following you, that's when you kind of understood. When we don't have these allies on our side, the importance of the state partnerships, they're doing everything they can to take over territory in this world. So we have to understand this is critical for us as a nation. And countries look to China for solvency and America for security. So we must be the security our partners require. The elephant in the room over the past few days has been North Korea and its constant test of the American, Japan, and South Korea resolve. Kim Jong-un is and will continue to test America's resolve. What we must realize is America has been in a ceasefire with North Korea since July 1953. This is going on close to 70 years where we have been locked into a ceasefire. There will come a point where we must recognize that will change, or we don't know if it will continue. But we have to say, it's hard to say at this point in terms of what will happen there, and we have to pay attention. When I was talking to General Hokanson last week, and we were talking about what's going on in North Korea right now, he says they don't want to forget that they are part of the nuisance to the world, and they want to stay relevant, so they're such an unknown. But our stance has not changed, and it is poised to support, as a Nevada National Guard, any mission within the Indo-PACOM, because that's the area that we're in. So with the ever-changing challenges that we have, here's some things that I want you to think about that are outlined in the National Defense Strategy. Number one, we're going to need to transform the foundation of the future force. I got to have capable airmen and soldiers. I got to have those who have been tested. I got to have those who are innovative and creative. I got to have those who are willing to go in harm's way and do what it takes to protect this nation. We have to make the right technology investments. We have to adopt and fortify our defense ecosystem. We have to strengthen our resilience and adaptability, and we have to cultivate the workforce that we need. We have to be much smarter. One of the things that General Brown, the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, when he talked about accelerate change or lose, he was saying we can't fight wars like we did in World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War. We just can't. And we have to constantly be in a mindset of using the best of the capabilities of the leaders that we have today. So many of you may be asking, if the United States, let alone the National Guard, could achieve all of this to take on its near-peer competition, competitors and adversaries, can we do it? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We are committed, we are prepared, we are ready, we are focused, we are driven, and we are intensely in the mindset of executing on war fighters anytime the state or this nation needs us. Many of you also may be wondering, what can I do to get involved, to support you, to move you forward, to help you as a Nevada National Guard? Thank you for asking that question. I am here to tell you, by taking an interest, understanding what we face as an operational force in the military, and by advocating to our elected officials that our guardsmen and United States military deserve the best care, the best equipment, and the best pay for our all-volunteer force. You have to understand, I don't think y'all did not hear me very good. First of all, we don't have a draft anymore. People raise their hand and take an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, which means I will sacrifice birthdays, holidays, anniversaries, kids being born, go to a foreign land because we love this nation. So we ask you to support us with the best care, the best equipment, and the best pay for all volunteer force. We need you behind us when we're asked to what does it need? What do you need as a National Guard, as a military? We need your support. So when you see your politicians, please say to them, I don't care what you vote on. Take care of the military. I don't care how you feel. Take care of the military. Matt, tell the person next to you, because some of you didn't hear it. He said, please take care of the military. Tell him. He said, please take care of the military. Tell him. He said, you didn't tell her. Tell her, okay. But this is how you can rest easy at night. This is how you will know there's nothing to fear. This is how you will know that the Nevada National Guard, the United States military, is always ready and always there. Almost done. Let me just finish with this. I have been reflecting recently because I love to study history. I love to look at the past. I love to say, how do you predict the future? And the hardest part about leadership is getting people to see what you see. And many of you have heard of the poem, The New Colossus, right? And if you haven't, I'll give you some words that are very familiar because it's on the bronze plaque up on the pedestal of the Statue of Liberty. And the words, give me your tired, give me your poor, give me your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless tempest, toast to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. You have to get that part right there in terms of what we stand for as a nation. Autocracies only work for the small few who can brutally manipulate to their own benefit while subjugating the masses. These flawed government constructs, as found in both Russia and China, can never and will never imprison nor shadow the human belonging for peace, freedom, and happiness. Should, however, and I hope you can hear me in the back, should, however, our president should call upon the service of the United States military, your Nevada National Guard, we will be ready to stand sentry against evil. Our swords are sharpened, and we are always ready to answer the call. The selfless service of the young men and women in uniform will ensure that the future of a free and democratic world will continue to exist for generations to come. You can tell your neighbors, you can tell your grandchildren, you can tell those who you go to school with, those you worship with, those you hang out with, those in your clubs, that the United States military is ready and prepared to do whatever it takes, whatever they're called to do, and your Nevada National Guard stands at the forefront of doing if they get tapped on the shoulder. And I remember the words of Winston Churchill, what a tragedy if you're unprepared or unqualified for the work which would be your finest hour. And I can just tell you this right now, we have shown by our proven track record that we're ready for it to be called at a moment's notice. Thank you, NDF, for all that you do. Thank you, Dr. Cobb, for all that you do, the Forum team, and all of you here. Go and be Paul Revere and say, the Guard is coming, because they got our backs. Thank you for all you do. Battle born and battle ready.
My concern is relevant to this extent. Less than 20 people took down the 2 tallest buildings in the nation. We have been invaded by 2 million this year. They're not friendly. These are some of the areas that we need to deal with rapidly. And it flies right in the face of COVID as how you mobilize a people. I would like your thoughts, sir.
And I can only talk to the military side, okay? In terms of where I see us in the ability to protect the security of this nation. Every day I get a chance to look at a report, and it talks about how many are activated, where they are in the world, what are their missions and assignments, where our equipment is, what the strategy is, what's the requirements from all the services. And let me tell you, there's a need for every service, okay? And one of the things we have learned is, I think I said earlier when General Brown talked about accelerate, change, or lose, how we look at security, how we look at rapid change, how we have the ability to adapt, how we take away bureaucracies, how do we are able to activate very quickly. And that's the uniqueness of your National Guard, but also working alongside with the joint forces. And so we know if the minute you take your guard down in terms of what potentially can happen, if you understand anything about cybersecurity, we get millions of attacks a day in your systems in our United States. And we have learned that we have to stay on the offensive and not take our guard down in terms of not just building the defenses, but being in the right locations and having the freedoms to take the actions that we need, that sometimes in the past we have not had the ability to do that. And on a regular basis, we are taking out state actors, we're taking out those who are trying to attack, we're taking out those who are trying to infiltrate, which I'm gonna say something I probably shouldn't, which is why we pay close attention to what goes on in the north and south borders, because you have to make it very difficult in terms of who, I don't know if you know this, the National Guard is down on the southern border, and you actually have personnel at different places in the United States. But that's why we have to do that. So the strategy, the framework, when we talk about deterrence, partnerships, relationships, that's why that's so key in terms of the ability to have the right security in place. Is there a defense system that's going to keep us from everything? No, there's not. And I used to be a police officer, and one of the things that we used to talk about is neighborhoods have to have eyes and ears in terms of crime. That's the same thing we have to have as a nation, is we have to have eyes and ears where people are willing to say, just doesn't look right, this is something that's unusual. You gotta be willing to speak up, because there's just too many different ways that this can happen. But having said that, based off of where we are right now, and I'm just gonna tell you exactly why was told to me when I was with the 4-star last week, we have the flexibility to be where we need to be in the world and in this country to protect it like we never have before. Like we never had before. So you can be reassured of that. Can we do better? Yes. But we have the, when your service chiefs have asked for support and personnel and resources, they've got it. But I will tell you, if we're not investing continuously in the newest technologies, being creative, being innovative, getting the best minds in terms of what we need to do strategically, that's when we, I think, take our eye off the ball and get behind. And so we cannot allow that to happen. When I'm kind of hitting hard here saying you gotta support the resources, the modernization, interoperability, those things it takes to have a great military, you just don't know how important that is. We have, I think I can say this publicly, we have an, I get quoted everywhere. So we have an aging fighter fleet that we need to modernize. We have to have better carriers. Some were funded in the last NDAA, but we have to have more carriers. We have to make sure that we have, I'm talking about the Army, we have the number of personnel that can be dispersed throughout the world on a moment's notice to respond. When we think about these state partnerships, it's critical that we have in fact, I think it was John Brownell that started the partnership with Fiji, right? And Tonga too? Or you started both of them? He's Tonga first. Okay. But which means that these relationships, and we have 93 of them around the world, and we're in competition, but when you have a trusting relationship and partnership and collaboration, they will work with you. They will be your supporter. They will be your ally. So we're talking about the game the Chinese play. This is a chess game, and we have to play the long game. And we know if we don't get the modernization that we need, because there's forces out there that are throwing everything they can into being the superior superpower that it takes to take over the world. So we need to make sure we keep putting into defense. We have to keep playing offense. We have to keep being preventative. We have to keep doing that. But long answer, we're better than we've ever been, but we need to continue to work aggressively, and we need to ensure that, because there's, when I look at the defense budget and all the requests that come for this great nation, if there's one place that I would not shortchange, it's the defense of this nation, because all it takes is 2 or 3 people who want to take us out because they have found a place to access us, and we cannot take that chance ever again.
Thank you, sir.
I promise not to be as long as the next one.
You've mentioned as one of the key underpinnings of your mission is the quality of your people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people bemoan what's happening with the next generation coming up.
Mm-hmm.
The lack of education, commitment, dedication to their country. What is your biggest challenge in attracting, recruiting, and retaining the kind of skilled, committed individuals you need to do your job?
The number one challenge is the recruitable population. Only 25% of our population, I'm talking about our youth, are recruitable. And it could be they don't meet certain requirements, they don't meet certain weight standards, they don't meet certain mental capacities, it could be anything. Only 25% are recruitable. That's number one. Number two is what I'm learning is you have to make it. Yeah, I can't attract people to the military that attracted me. I have to attract people and meet them where they're at. Tie in more purpose into why they join. Being a part of the military like going to college, where we will prepare you not just for your career, we'll prepare you for life. Getting them to understand the importance of nobility and service. Getting them to know that making a contribution bigger than themselves in ways that we not thought possible. I'm just gonna, right now of course everybody knows we have drones. That is one of the most attractive fields we have learned for the young kids today, because it's like playing a video game. And I never would have, it wouldn't be me. But having said that, getting to them in different ways. Now, if you came down to anybody here go to the Nevada Day Parade down in Carson City? Okay. I don't know, if you saw the number of kids that were in the ROTC from the high schools, that lets me know that you have a population of kids, because it's not like being in the military, but there's an interest. They're wearing a uniform. They're learning structure. They're learning discipline. So we have to get them before the world gets them, before the world messes them up, before the world gives them something inside. Okay, we do, and so I believe there's kids out there that want to serve and want to get it. Let me just say this real quick. I'm gonna become a recruiter real quick. I'm gonna become a recruiter.
That teachers in the back?
Okay, and we'll come to your school, every single one of them. If you join the United States military, you can go to college literally for free. And not just go to college for free, you can make money while you're going to school. You get a monthly stipend for going to school because not only do you get the GI Bill, you get the state tuition assistance. Also, you get your textbooks paid for. Also, we now have it where you can transfer your benefits to your dependent, and they can go to college for free. Also, we have this thing called the Nevada tax holiday, where on Nevada Day and 2 days after, every single thing you buy in Nevada, if you're a Nevada Guardsman, is tax-free. Everything. Motorhome, washer, dryer, refrigerator. So the other thing is that I'm learning, going back to your question, is I have to start doing things to take care of the whole person. Because I had a first sergeant that had been on 6 deployments in like 13 years, which means it's like 7 years out of your life. And so we have to be better at balancing and ensuring we're taking care of them mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. We have to be better at that. We started a course called Purple Resolve, and where they can come with their spouses. I think y'all 2 came, right? Wave your hand over there. Everybody that went. Dave, did you raise your hand? Didn't your wife go too? Okay, yeah. So, and this is something I wouldn't have done 10 years ago. But I got to think about the whole family. I got to think about what really, how do we take care of them? We also have to be more flexible now. I never would have said this before, but if somebody says, I want to just take a knee and not be in the military for like 6 months or a year, I got to be okay with that. Or if somebody says, can I do quarterly drills? So we've had to be a little bit flexible and adaptable, but also let them know that we will take care of them when they come in the organization and we'll support them. I have 5 strategic priorities as the Adjutant General. One is readiness, and not just the ability to lean in to be ready for the global or the homeland, but also how we are ready to take care of our people. The second one is care for members, families, and their employers. The third one is diversity, equity, and inclusion. I don't care who you are, where you're from, what country, your language. If you want to join and raise your hand, come in and you will get the chance to unleash your full potential. The fourth one is community. That's why I love being here, because we are a community-based organization, and we want to have partnerships with the community. And we want you to know that we're there for you. We're neighbors helping neighbors in any way that I can help. But stand up, Dave, so they know who you are. Stand up, because he's trying to be. That's our Department of Emergency Management. So if something happens, fire, floods, some kind of natural disaster, did you still stand up? No, okay. Natural disaster. But I mean, and if you haven't met him, you just want to touch the hem of his garment, okay? In terms of because I mean that's a part of the department of part of the Nevada Military Department, but that's a big piece that works with. You've been to all 17 counties now, and you talk to every sheriff, county commissioner, politician, resident, rancher. What's left? 7-Eleven worker. I mean, because this is your military, so we want you to know that community is a big part for us. And then the last one is development. I like to say leadership development. And we are building leaders not just for the military, but also for the workplace, also for the community. Most people don't know that 3/4 of my force, out of the 4,700, 3/4, what they call drill status guardsmen or MDAs, which means they're part-time or traditional guardsmen, which means they're police officers, school teachers, counselors working in the community. And they meet their requirements to be in the military. But we have to meet the same requirements as the active duty, because in times of war, the National Guard is about 35 to 40% of those in theater that are out there fighting wars. In times of a pandemic or a wildfire or something going on in the homeland, the National Guard is about 90% of those who will respond. When we talk in times of having partnerships with foreign nations and allies, the National Guard has 93 of those. So I got to do it better with less time and less resources and be right alongside and meet the same requirements as the active duty. Am I right about that? You ask them, I'm right about that? Am I right about that? Ask them. Yeah, and we do it every time. I don't even remember what the question was.
So to follow up, Keith, I would like to introduce, if the teachers or the representatives from the Washoe County School District would please stand up. We do have a partnership with the Washoe County School District where we hold a youth security forum every May. And these are special members of the Washoe County School District. They run the We the People program, and they are the most dynamic students you could meet. So I recommend that you meet them.
Well, I did meet them, and this is what I said to them. I'm just going to tell you exactly what I said to them. Because, you know, when you start getting a little bit older, you start, making up stuff. Because you can, and you just don't care. But I said to them, I said that, and you can ask them, I said this. I said, there's 3 callings in life. There's 3 callings in life. First calling, I believe, is like what I call the ministries of those in the faith community, those who pray for us, those who intercede for us. That's a calling to do that because you're giving back to people. The second calling, I said, is those who protect us, our first responders, our military, those who are out there in the front lines. That's a calling. The third calling, I said, is think about how big is this. Those who are entrusted with our future to make sure they are prepared to keep the quality of life and to elevate this world like it never has been before. Those are our educators. We cannot do it without them. And if I told them when I run for president, I tell everybody this because I might do it one day. This is my platform. This is my platform. When I run for president, I'm taking care of teachers, I'm taking care of senior citizens, and I'm spanking kids again. That's all I'm gonna do. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm gonna do. I don't know about the economy and all that. Somebody else will figure it out. But that's what I'm gonna do. That's my platform. So when I run in 24, so hey, I think I can win. I think I can win.
You got my vote.
Okay.
You got my vote. So, with that, any last questions for the general? Oh, one more.
It'll be short.
All I want to say is you are one of the most articulate, inspirational persons I've ever listened to at any event. You are passionate. You're all about country and about love of the United States. And God bless you, because it's amazing how well you have spoken tonight, and it inspired everybody here. And all I can say is thank you.
I appreciate that. Here's a parting thing I'll say. I have a strong, I'm a glass half full person. I really am. And I hope you get there too, if you're not. I like to say, I'm a dispenser of hope. We have to have a hope and belief that, brighter days are there in front of us. And I also know this, like there's a table back there, a former Nevada guardsman, wave your hands back there, the people, yeah. And I stand on, give them a hand, okay? I think for many of you in this room here who've had a few birthdays, that we stand on your shoulders, and shame on us if we don't make this world better. And when you want to see if you ever get frustrated or disappointed, I open this up to anybody in here, and you want to see a best practice of unity, commitment, teamwork, dedication, focus, working together, you come out there and spend time with us, because I want to be a beacon of hope for this great nation in terms of what's offered in the United States military. And again, I thank Dr. Cobb. I thank you for all that you do. And the last thing I will say is this. I know this without a doubt. It's a fact of life. The military is the answer to your prayers.